Goedemorgen, Mr. Maestro, Mr. Maestro. Simpel. Evidente. It's February 6th, the first Friday of this February 2006, 2026. David, Mr. Lynch, David, slightly Mr. Lynch, can you hear me from here? Because, and if he can't believe it, it's a Friday once again. It's a Friday once again in Naples. Today once again middle sky. Subson for me middle it's the equivalent of variable. Practically means a day sky at sun here, day sky alternate with or two clouds or cloudy fact sky day sky attenzione or viceversa. Essendo at the moment it is also wind Livy and cold, considering the period. Yes, perhaps more, yes, in fact, more heavy and cold, also cold in general, cold and heavy and cold, and it's not so simple now. It's early afternoon, 13 and 30 minutes, 16 Fahrenheit. 16 Fahrenheit 16 Celsius, means it is really cold, okay, qualsiasi aggettivo sicuramente più in questo corso avressico esperienza sia effect challenge nelle foglie della stagione seventina lo so che video recam for the rest of the course guarda a sapere se sono in genere esame perhaps non mi follow me the regrets for the summer body questo effect video recam so di essere gradini now also for doing the recam and to be decided in December 21 in particular 16 3 on 4 and 3 p.m. in Italy. Vabbè, sono non riombe finché a cuore sono buoni con suppose indeed, I'm sure, ma tu sì, diremmi sì, so the setting times for pose activation to Chinese, it's a better no perhaps paradox to me, la linea adesso non ti avevo su the spring esame di udine, si fa che vuole spring su piace si soffre l'esame di accettato oggi avuto un segno di accesso sono assuntate in generale, come si sapere da classificati tipi, classificare dei glisi, attrice famiglie, o essere figure sia da figure absolutely incomplete, better now considering the period it's winter, it's cold, we complain or should complain. At when I say sentence absolutely incomplete, I'm very feeling was referred to me, particular absolutely for this period, was thanks to the fact or for the fact that I don't feel cold, I feel cool less. And I have people things that is a size of practice, better to practice, the following news in Sabines, and which I was very cold. And when it came in winter period, or winter at the spheres, I always write a comment which I can explain what I practice in cities. I would take a few weeks ago, the first part of the comment is in asterisk, so some man is interesting. Come what I do practice, you really is the first part of the comment is asterisk, so come what I do practice, I don't know for some people, for I think not as fact if you hold for anything, yes, I know. This represents that I think 95% difficult or very in general in some way for me also good instead what has got to situation I don't know if I can say something is for this it's good at some completely but can be some of this It's a Friday once again, sono visto fuori. Sei Friday, it's a Friday once again, sono visto fuori. Sei Friday, it's a Friday once again, sono visto fuori. Sei Friday, lasciare bello di sé. Lasciare bello di sé. Fantastic Electric Blue e White this is 6 rays on the sun at the ports, so so big as the fifth crashed in the week of 7 Friday ago, and also since that time, in fact, I'm using it. This new. I used it with me in the previous, the fifth is with me 6 months more than half, and if I also lost count in this thing like Rex and Squeak about the breakfast. This yes, repeat, but essere permesso di detto one day or one time, so anytime it should better presidente di ciò start show it to you, but repeat, this should be a period 6 months and a half, more than half, and this is obviously good because it's new. Adesso only for the September at least 30 minutes, or better share it 30 minutes, and for the fact is new, but also these aspects for this for at month only in one round, so very good news. So really great thing. Yes, I showed you, and now I showed you better because perhaps just if you want to see well. So this is zoom shot. Blue and white for the girls. To me, 40 was the first 40 was blue and white, and for other aspects, the first one and second reason also the reports. And also repeat once again, this is the sixth reason. In fact, this is the sixth reason story about the reports in general. Per dire forse anni questa proprio si vede forse inizia a non insieme a me se kan stato per rigente ma come quando mai come le chance si può insomma c'è il mio musica ma si pensa così ma si vedi per regato Ingrid Jaffen, Vika Trevor Simonsise, ripetesi just before, 6 in 16 Celsius. In parentino si anticipated. Just before the release. Essere si cortina solo di se cortina in genere sembra presente a sciusi atmosferic test suppose fa che sono senza ripetere this middle sky exactly like yesterday sunny or with sun with the sun day scatters in general alternative in the clouds or cloudy day scatters in general as I said at the opening considering the last days according to what in particular yesterday according to what consumer sensation certain things I'm most sure that later late after because they left but it became I think if not at all really close to it's totally cloudy and also at my training for a few months back from late I think very close let's see how we see what will happen but as we said now bisogna mantenere vicino a questo si inizia clear screen today here well Ben perhaps better the contrary bad well at the moment so see this from the or bad also Max it was a little good but in general bad well Ben so see this from the medical win and what orting in some mix implants in cortese since last number one was things so buffering the best particular the liberty to deep and the passage in fact for the price to new cortese read the comment section one ma come some section so it should be the third point for the first comment perhaps for comment see reading one of them see read the comment section I don't know if you can see another read quella shot near me from a little think yes see the green flowers, longer flowers mixed with twin plants, or if not, even better, surely better from these shots. Vatican is the first part of video which Perugia shot you weather is cut as stranger for classical medical window in classical medical room, because no perhaps non is also a medical window in the other medical room. Or from a broader perspective, also from the other practice a shot similar to classical shot film 1 years ago, in fact, in Warmer 1, where for the price curtain, beautiful curtain pit with beautiful painted benches, and perhaps Also for the first routine was through the reverse color routine if I'm trying exactly sure the color routine is still cover major recent and one day as when I damage legit where also seeing this shot so related so effect but for the reason the growth shooter also the reason but more the reason was effect is measure nel si reda little picture sentence so richiede su fare per ascoltare vita before the routine with intervention la persona che per essere tutti so the reports color routine if I'm trying so si chiede entrambe exactly and also si chiede as you read it for the senior team, so I have to repeat the expression also used for 4-5 times. Yes, it's a little speech or sentences, but also and always better visible for me its entirety. And in this shot, at the point, is mythical, legendary shot. La sega riconosciuta in attivismo domestica attivismo sforzitis flax ottobre che si importa tutto il supporto del tutto superiore in attivismo e non al serie degli stessi specializzati su forti cortingo sofrit più sessuale del sofrit so ripeto once again but also and always better visible for me its entity in this shot anticipancy mythical legendary shot and finally from a mythical keyboard engine che si accende in 40 pg 625 also is from this mythical legendary shot. So from a new short film in a few days ago, 13 days ago to be precise, where you can see the actual condition of the keyboard since practically 1 year and 2 months. Yes, yes. Yeah, questi molto piccolo, facendo qualsiasi indicatore, sono un bel esiste. Su myself, because and finally, I hope you will get breakfast. Late in general, also massive, come say late from us, but all important, even if, as I'm repeating since last December 31, that occurs for the first time, in fact, it's late in general, but all for the record, but not to from us, was from us, kind of a normality to make breakfast resource, proximity with so solid. But above all important is that this for you for the record, so man, the treat was sorry for breakfast, fianta and simulator, statuita, fianta aperta, drinking milk, fianta and parte mettete, it was yes, so che te record di record, man, the so sarà ciò. Radio repeat, radio di close carriera con little sonas, no, more than yes, this is just before. They're just slowly, obviously just encoder, teen minutes. But important English shows the only set to tell me also very fortunate to so I'm really angry. And as we must say, like some most beautiful things left in the world. Absolutely. No, it's supposed to not. Si può dire more than 1 year. I was lost the count to think like effect of the sex over from a reason. Friday also the new Friday. Surely the new Friday I have it since the week of 7 Fridays ago, but I didn't remember exactly the day. At more say this away for the X for Marisa. It was the 5th crash in fact in the week of 7 Fridays ago, and it was the 5th and so on. And beautiful red back also white. That if the model compared to the previous one, it remembers me first one and second. All things that no in fact if in particular for someone follow in particular is Friday's weather report. I think not boring, as always sono boring. Watch all my videos, also sulle reports. Vabbè, tra i video should be nel via, but the premise you get 1 day or 1 time so attention poi su queste presidenti attention status di things, meglio di speech, per esempio un certo presidente gioco di radio occupazione moneta, siamo su fresare bis sarà effect fact En beef combos with beef biscuits and syrup. Met finket van een beetje met pescatarians of biscuits. Chocolate chip cookies. Or the cookies, the chips, chocolate or chocolate chips. En ik vind het met zeker, dus effect op is miselinch. Trouwens, Matti in particolare, natuurlijk le cure serie red and these first ones about to milk fast one shot anche ti scoffia così. Ma tu sei quick shock li fai questo tasto one shot fa come ti finisce. Se shot and inflaz think se it once. E so si chiesa lo so conosci mi sta nel piede sono intention per sweat cosa non è quick si finisce now si non si bretti to si think to Adrian 15 16 is so si cosa lo so conosci mi sta nel piede se intention per sweat su insert montre te di pattern insert ditto once che in milk su very good news. E oggi si usa fare breakfast. All'West Obama sta stipendo particolare mega bomba e se che si fa spirito gioco su allora come sto manio su more than 1 year so of course I'm listening to first time so that video and if stiamo also se toll io cosa breakfast so sta mega bomba e se continui a passare se fa nei frabbio stessa la cona anzi si alza mi sa in questa position perhaps su seco video da pamma at first position ma attenzione second position because at least questa position for me that Italian Palma Dark Chocolate Chip Yes. Per cui a tu come name tu because they are really super bar. Adesso ci metto muovere, poi fare un telefono con un numero quello lì. Ma guarda sì.